Hello and welcome back to Thursday Morning with LindaZ. And today we are going to look at embroidering on a towel. This is a terry cloth hand towel, and I just wanted to show you how fast it is and how easy it is. So you could take any kind of a terry cloth towel. I just chose the smallest one I could find. And we're going to show you how easy it is to put monogramming in on the Brother 3700 Innovus machine. So I've got that embroidery. It's an embroidery and a sewing machine over here. It has a 5x7. You can go up to a 6x10 inch hoop, but I've got the middle hoop that is available, the 5x7 here.
Hi, sewing friends. It's Linda here with a cup of coffee. I hope you have one too. The wonderful thing about this channel is that it's a tribute to sewing, quilting, and embroidery. We showcase an array of machines that will fit every project that you can even imagine. Do you enjoy our content? Well, then please lend us your support with a subscription, a like, a comment, positive comments. We love hearing from you. For product inquiries, just LindaZ.com. It's always open. We have a dedicated sales staff that look forward to helping you make the right choice with your future machine needs. And let's embark on today's sewing journey.
And you can also go down to as low as the 4x4 or the 2x2 monogramming for monogramming cuffs. But today we're just going to use this one, which is going to be great. And just wanted to show you which stabilizers I use and how quick it's going to be. So I've got this OESD stabilizer. It's a we call it a sticky stabilizer, but they call it the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. So it's a tearaway stabilizer. It has a layer of paper, or shiny paper on the outside. And what we want to do is we want to cut a piece of it that is an inch larger all the way around our hoop, our outer hoop. So here I've got my outer hoop, my inner hoop's over here. Let's measure based on our outer hoop, 1 inch all the way around. So it looks like this roll right here is perfect for having 1 inch above and below. So then if I just go 1 inch beyond to right and left, I can just snip, and then I'll take my rotary cutter and my ruler to make the even cut all the way across and cut a relatively straight line right along the edge of that ruler. So this piece becomes 1 inch larger all the way around my hoop. And actually a tip for all of you out there who have stabilizer rolls, so they're big and it takes a while to use them all. So you take this, you take the slip that was wrapped around with the saran wrap around the roll when you bought it, and you roll it and you put it on the inside of your stabilizers, because stabilizers look alike, but they're not all alike at all. So you really do need to roll that paper up so you know which stabilizer is actually on this roll. It helps a lot. We're also going to use today this Embellish Iron Away clear topper. So it's a heat and gone, they call it, or it goes away with heat, or you can just tear it away after we've done it, after we've finished our embroidery design. So I'm actually going to open this one up, and it looks like this one already has a rolled up piece of paper on the inside of the tube and to tell us what the stabilizer is. And so this is a brand new roll here. So I'm just going to take a piece that will be large enough to cover the embroidery design in my hoop once I've chosen that design. So the reason I'm going to use this Ultra Clean and Tear Plus stabilizer with the paper on the side, underneath the paper is a sticky. And what we're going to do is let's hoop up the stabilizer first, and then I'll explain to you why we're using this. Because normally on other stabilizers, we'd actually be taking this object that we're embroidering on, and we would hoop it into the hoop, right, with the stabilizer, right? So I'm just pretending that that's what I would be doing with other stabilizer, not with this one, but with other stabilizers. I could have hooped all of it together, but to avoid getting, this is a very thick towel. These terry cloths can be very thick, so I don't want to have to hoop the towel if I don't have to. And I don't have to, so let's not hoop the towel. Let's just hoop the stabilizer that has this paper coating on it. We keep the paper coating on it, and I am going to line up this inner hoop and get that inside there. Actually, I'm going to loosen it just a hair so I can get it in there. Push down all the way on there. It does require a little bit of pressure to get that in there. Actually, I'm going to loosen it just a little more. We don't want it too loose, but the paper is a little bit thick, so we want to be able to put pressure on it without it being too loose. There we go. So it's very important that we're on a flat surface like this as we do this, because if you were trying to do it on your lap, for example, you might put a hole in the stabilizer, or you might not just be able to get it done very, very well, this hooping process. So it's nice to have that flat surface like this. So now this is what it should look like with the border around the outside, an inch or more around the outside. So I'm going to take one of my handy dandy T-pins. So I've got this T-pin right there. You can see that. It's a blunt edged pin, and I'm going to score the paper in an X shape here. So I'm scoring only the paper. I'm not going all the way through the stabilizer. I'm only going through the paper layer that's on top. And I'm going to use the point of my T-pin, and I'm going to pull off, tear away. It's very easy to tear this paper away. It's kind of like wax paper on one side now. It's that waxy feel. So it does tear. It does come away from the sticky surface here pretty easily. And because I've scored it, it makes it even easier. There we go. And one last side. It does easy to tear away. So we've got all that torn away, and we can throw that away. And then now we're going to take the pretty side up of our towel, and we are going to place it. So basically I've decided that I want to embroider in this strip area that's right above the decorative trim on this hand towel. So I'm going to try and put a monogram right there in that center area. So what I could do is I could fold this, and before I stick it down, and finger press basically the center of that area so I can see exactly where that is. I could actually take my T-pin and pin that so that I can see exactly where that center point is. And that way I can see where that is. I'm just pretty much eyeballing it. So I've got that right there. And if I then take that this way and I bring that over, I've got marks on my hoop that are the center of the hoop. What's nice about the Brother machine here is that when I do bring my design up to the machine, it is going to center it inside the hoop for me. So that is good. And then the other thing I can do on this machine, so I'm now sticking this down. The other thing I'll be able to do is go over once I go over to the machine, but I want to show you this heat and gone stabilizer first. So it's smooth on the outside here, and then it has bumps on the inside. So I want to take a piece that will cover the embroidery design that I'm going to be stitching out, and that will be not as large as the hoop, but it's just a piece to cover the embroidery design. And the reason I'm choosing that type of a topper is because, here, let me use my rotary cutter again here and cut that. So my bumpy side needs to be facing down like this. So I've got my hoop and it's all ready to go. Now I just need to go over to the machine. But the reason, like I said, the reason that the bumps are facing down like this is, and that I am even using a topper like this, is because if I were to, without a topper, just start stitching a design down on this towel, it would flatten, the thread would potentially get buried in the loft of my terry cloth loops here. But if I put this on, that creates a surface that flattens out my terry cloth, and then it allows my embroidery design to be above the height of any of the loops of the terry cloth. So that's why I need that topper, and that's why I'm using that topper. So now before I bring that over, I'd like to go over to the machine here, and on the machine, I'm going to choose the monogram section of this. So I'm at the home screen here, if you can see that, and I'm going to choose the AA monogramming section. And I've got a whole bunch of different monograms. That's the first page of 3 on here. I'm going to go to page 2, and I'm going to choose my monogram number 7. And I am just going to put my initials, which are D, M, And then I'm going to arrow down to the next section of the letters, Z. And so I'm happy with that. And it tells me with the 3 letters, DMZ, tells me that I will be 1 inch dot 17 high and 3.46 inches this way, going right to left. With the D, M, and Z width will be that long. So I think that's a great size. And I could have changed the size here, large, medium, and small. So there's so many different ways of going through and playing with these monograms in this machine that I'm just going through this quickly because I love this actual design. And then what I'll push is set to see. And I can, before I go and see what it's going to look like and start stitching, I'm going to actually rotate, because I know that in my hoop over here, I can bring it over here to show you. In my hoop, I'm going to be attaching the hoop this way, and I want the DMZ to be reading this way. So I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees so that I can read DMZ going down this way. And so I'll say OK to that. And before I begin to sew, I am going to attach the hoop, and I am going to edit end. So on this machine, I can actually go around, and it can show me exactly, with the press of a button, it's going to show me exactly where it's going to stitch. So I can see that it is very close to the line. So what I might want to do is move it over just a little bit to the right, so that it's a little bit farther above. So let me go ahead and try that again and see if that's a little bit better. To me, that does look better. And then I kind of want to see, if I were to choose, for example, this lower corner, I can see how far that is to the end of the towel. And if I were to choose the upper corner, I could see how far that is from the edge of the towel. And I could take a measuring tape and I could actually see exactly how much space is between those two, and to see if I'm actually centered this way, and then if I'm in the actual position that I want to be in. So it's going to be as if the DMZ is actually sitting on top of this decorative ribbon here. So I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to push embroidery, and it's going to be stitching out in 7 minutes. I've got 1 color and I've got 2,000 stitches here. So the one last thing I wanted to say before I start is I do have a pre-wound bobbin that I've put inside here. So it's a Brother pre-wound bobbin, and they're 80 weight thread. So it's a thinner thread than my upper thread. And I have a thread stand back here. So I could have put the thread on my machine easily, but I do love these auxiliary thread stands, because what happens is it allows the thread to breathe, and it's just a really nice way to embroider. So to have the embroidery thread pulling off next to the machine or behind the machine. We don't want it to be near the hand wheel of the machine, because that is almost like a vacuum cleaner. You don't want the thread to be sucked into that as it's going around and embroidering. So you want to make sure you avoid that wheel here. So I do have it over the top of the back, and now all I have to do is put the foot down and press go, and then we can, through the magic of video, we can watch it sew a little bit first, because it is quite pretty. It's a very thick monogram design. You can see it a little bit, and then hopefully we can fast forward through this very quickly, and then we will see the end product. Okay, so here we are. We are with a finished embroidery. We have our design done. Looks really good. So we can bring it over to our station here, and we can pull off. So, I mean, you could take this away with heat, with an iron. It would just burn away, but it's just really also easy to pull away. So I'm just going to pull that away, that excess. And then any of the other excess you can pull away with your fingers, or you can just heat it with a very light iron. I see there's one stray thread from when it picked up between the different designs. So it looks really good. And then we can just pull it out of our hoop. Make sure we try not to pull too much because that is the sticky surface. And then that can just be pulled away. And then we are done. So I just pulled that away and we are done. Look how pretty that looks. So if you're looking for an embroidery machine that can do this type of project very easily, very quickly, we do have these brother machines. We have baby lock machines that do very similar. They are a gem of a machine to do this kind of a thing. There's so many different really fun projects that are built in, the different the forms, the outlines, if you want to do shapes around the monogramming. They've got those built in. So come on in and see us, and one of our sales representatives would love to be able to show that to you. And happy sewing. Have a nice day.